Mission. We have a liftoff. I repeat, we have a liftoff.
Hello, welcome and happy new year from your space commander Fenris 7. Welcome to the first of hopefully many videos on YouTube that I'm gonna release about games that I deem worthy of being played on YouTube. One of these is Mars Horizon, which was released last month in November 2020, and I had the insane privilege of being an ambassador for this game, meaning I got early access to this and was allowed to stream and create content of this as much as I wanted, but unfortunately, besides streams, I didn't have the time for it at the time. So now we are going to do this. We're gonna start a fresh new game here, and we are gonna choose which space agency we're gonna play as our base. It will mostly influence which kinds of rockets we have, what they are named. Our base will be looking different based on that. I will customize the agencies though, because I have my preferences here. My first playthrough I did was the ESA, the European Space Agency, which, fun fact, was also cooperating with the developers to make this game as accurate as possible. So, we will... I think we will try to go to space as the Japanese space program. So, we'll customize this though, because, yeah, the Japanese flag is cool and all, but I feel we need something of our own. I hope at some point the developers will add the ability to add your own custom flags and badges, because who doesn't want to be part of the Fenris 7 space program? But until that point in time, let's choose a pretty cool flag and badge for ourselves. I like this one. Let's go with this one. And it is the Fen Space Program. We are gonna start from the Tanegashima Space Center. We're gonna change our traits though. And I'm gonna do a bit of randomizing of the diplomacy. So let's start with one of my absolute favorites. Where is it? It is... Okay, I have to find it again. I always forget what it's called, but I know what it does. Operations Specialist. We get one additional mission slot, which means from the get-go we can do 2 operations, 2 missions at once, which usually you cannot do. Usually you start with one until you have a building that gives you another one. And that is gonna be very good for us. Then I am looking for some ways of reducing costs. So I'm gonna reduce the costs, construction cost and upkeep of buildings. And we have one more point left. We could of course take a negative here. I say failure is not an option, so we have double the support penalty for failed missions. And we also take... no, that doesn't make sense, really. Unless I want to pick one for 3 points, that doesn't exist. Okay, so yeah, we'll stay with that. So we have that. Could take 2 traits at 1. Points, so let's make lucrative type request missions even more rewarding in terms of funds. And then I think, unless there's something I miss. I will go with the efficient construction, giving us a reduction in the building time of the vehicles themselves. So that's the traits we're going to start with. Now let's randomize diplomacy. We have... I want 1 green and 1 very dark red, if I can get it. Now, I don't want to be antagonistic with the ESA, so let's hit that a few more times until ESA and... nah. It must make sense, historically seen, so... No. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. This would be almost perfect if not for the lack of friendship. This I like. We are allied with the ESA and we are antagonistic with the Chinese space program. That makes sense. We'll skip the tutorials. The only auto-resolve option are request missions. And because, you know, why not? Let's do this on highest difficulty, veteran. And let's start the game. Welcome, Director. For the first time in humanity's history, space is within reach. Your role is to take us there. Through technological innovation and cutting-edge research, our agency will meet the formidable challenges of space travel. Through endeavor and bravery, we will inspire our nation to look to the stars for its future. The wonders of the solar system await. Ganbatte kudasai, Director. So, we'll start off right away. We will research the small launch pad. Because we currently can't launch anything. We have an HQ in a vehicle hangar. We don't have a launch pad. And the first mission we have to do is the test launch. So that's the first thing we'll research. Base, as you can see, this is our base. What is nice about this base is there are no lakes within our buildable area. So once we clear this of all the obstructions, we can use this entire space here, which is insanely good. So that's that. Here's beautiful Earth. We have the test launch. We can plan the mission in theory, and I think we'll do that right away. This is us here, the Defense Space Program, and we will design, build the sounding rocket. It's a sounding rocket. It's gonna be called Otsukare. And it will cost us 80,000 and will take 2 months to build. And we'll build. Next month. Nothing happened. Next month. Rocket is built, but we don't have the launch pad yet. We had luck though, our engineers managed to optimize the vehicle's attitude control systems, which will improve launch stability. Which gives us plus 5% launch reliability, which is now 25% instead of 20% because this is the first rocket we ever built. We cannot queue this up yet, so we will go to the base, say build, say launch pad, and I don't want any penalties. I also need to be aware of money restrictions though, and this is the cheapest place to build it. We can move buildings later on, it costs money, but it's a lot better than building something here for almost double the cost. So we'll build the launch pad right there. Next research, it's gonna be the artificial satellite mission. Because the way I like to do it is mission first, so we can work on building the payload. Then the vehicles that will bring them up, and then buildings. And rinse and repeat. That way you keep churning out mission after mission. So we will... Yeah, I can't set this up yet. It's still reminding me there is something waiting for me, but can't do anything about it. We have built the small launch pad. Launch pads are an essential service structure for launch vehicles, allowing maintenance work and providing data about the vehicle ahead of launch. Allows the launch of small vehicles. So now we can queue this up. Launch date. There's no sense in waiting because we don't have training unlocked yet. So we'll just select the closest date, which is May, the next month, and say confirm setup. May 1957, we will start or launch our first rocket. It's just a prototype, but the sooner we push ahead of the others, the better for us it is. Then we will go check our progress with the mission here. Will take probably 2 months more, so that's fine. Let's click next month. Test launch, May 1957. Optimal date, no training set. 25% reliability. Let's prepare the launch. It is not raining, which is a good sign. Beautiful night. Good conditions, so we have a 33% chance this will go exceptionally well, or at least successfully. We have a 50% chance that something negative will happen, and a 17% chance this rocket will just explode. So, without further ado, let's launch! The ignition. We have a liftoff. I repeat, we have a liftoff. Well, it didn't explode, so that's already good. And actually, it was swimmingly. We didn't get any bonuses, but it was successful without a hitch. Despite low chance for it. The rocket is leveling up, so each part you successfully launch or use will get a level up to level 5. Each level adds a certain percentage, with the sounding rocket getting a whopping 15% per level. So that is nice. We were the first to do this, so we get additional approval, giving us a total public approval of 106, and we get additional 213 science for 1 month. As you can see, the others are gonna launch in 8 or 9 months, so we have quite a bit of a head start here. And we will just move on to the next month. We have researched the artificial satellite, and we have reached Era 1, Dawn of Spaceflight. As rocket technology advances, so does the prospect of exploring beyond the confines of our planet. Yet the public continue to question whether the fledgling agencies can overcome the dangers of space agencies. Space flights. Sorry. Let's see. We have unlocked the moon as a potential target for our missions. We have done the artificial satellite research. Let's move on to the first booster, the Lambda 4S. And then we have also the upper stage, Lambda 4S. An early solid fuel rocket designed to launch basic satellites into low Earth orbit. Has a basic launch reliability of 60%, gets 2% per level. Has a capacity of 350 kilograms, needs a small launch pad. Takes 1 month to build and costs 50k. And the upper stage is a small upper stage capable of lifting only basic satellites into low Earth orbit. Has a capacity of only 25 kilograms, which is really low. Launch reliability of 55%, but gets 3% in reliability per month instead of 2% for the booster. Also takes 1 month and costs another 50k. And weighs 350 kilograms, which conveniently is exactly what the Lambda 4S can carry. Okay, so that's the next one. However, since we have a sounding rocket, we can also now get requests. There are none yet, but we will get them eventually. So we'll push on. Finish the Lambda 4S. Oh, I should probably research the payload before I research the rockets. I always forget. There's 2 parts to every mission. You have to design the actual mission, in a sense here like the artificial satellite, an essential first step in any space program. The first agency to launch a satellite into a stable orbit around Earth will take a prominent early lead in the space race. However, we also need to design the actual payload for this. Osumi, a small, simple satellite designed to take ionospheric and solar emission measurements. We need to design that before we can actually start the mission. So that's why we didn't see any missions pop up yet. That's my fault. But it only takes a month. So that's done. We'll work on the other part and we will design or plan this mission ahead. We will get 128 support and 340 science base reward if we do this. And if we're the first, we also get another 38 approval rating. So let's design this. Reliability is not the greatest. We could cut costs and reduce the reliability a lot. We could go with the standard, or we could make it even more expensive to have more energy at our disposal. For the first one, I'm gonna go with standard, just a straight 100k in funds, in resources put into this. Takes 2 months to build. We also have, I saw that, requests. So we could do a test launch, atmospheric sampling. No reward for being first because this is a request mission and not anything else. We would get, though, additional support and more science, so... And the sounding rocket doesn't cost the world. It has a base reliability of 35% instead of 20% now. Plus minus whatever we get from the building itself. Costs 80k and takes 2 months. I'll say go ahead. The sooner we get our push ahead of our competition, the better. So we finished researching all parts of the rocket for our artificial satellite, so we can go right into production. Works out in the end. So the Osumi, the removal of a faulty instrument will reduce the payload's data collection capabilities, yet should also simplify launch configuration requirements. So we'll get less of a science reward, which is kind of a bummer, but at least the vehicle build time will be reduced by another 25%. And we have built our second rocket, the Shishi. Our engineers managed to optimize the vehicle's attitude control systems, which will improve launch reliability. So we're up to a 40%. Awesome. This one, again, we don't have training unlocked yet, so closest date possible, get this out as soon as possible. For the artificial satellite, we need to design our vehicle. It's pretty standard because we only have one piece each. So there we go. This is gonna be the unmanned, and costs us 100k to build, and all it takes one single month to build. So we'll keep churning out rocket after rocket after rocket. However, we need to think ahead of time. I will research labs next, so that we can get more research per month, and also unlock the first of several types of trainings. So, artificial satellite vehicle complete. Final environmental testing found the payload to be more resilient than projected, yet there have been several issues with the vehicle's guidance software. So the payload is more reliable, however, the launch reliability has suffered for it. Not optimal. And our atmospheric sampling is ready. So launch a suborbital sounding rocket to measure the effects of solar radiation on Earth's upper atmosphere. 40% launch preparations, reliability. It's clear weather, so seems like a good day to launch our rocket. A few clouds in the sky, not the worst. So it's launch day of the Shishi in November 1957. Adequate conditions, so 42%. Personally, I think that's the perfect number, 42, the answer to everything. So, let's go. Ignition. We have a liftoff. I repeat, we have a liftoff. And it didn't go boom again. There was a little hiccup. We get even less science reward, but I'm just glad it launched successfully. We have now a base reliability of the sounding rocket of 50%. And we fulfilled our mission here, so we get another 85 approval. Approval will come into play at the end of the year, which is pretty close. And we have, with that, got enough that we'll go to the next tier in funding. We get more money per month for each tier. And we get 160 signs for 1 month. So, could have been better. Could have been a whole lot worse. So, the artificial satellite is ready. Again, I haven't built any buildings yet. And if I can push this out in December, we might even get enough approval to push ahead to the third tier in funding and get even more money. So I will try to do this. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Launch reliability is reduced, and weather, even though it's optimal launch window, weather could really mess us up, but I like to take risks. It sometimes is worth it, so we'll see. Do we have... No, we have no requests. Can't do anything else next month. Research lab, research complete. And the artificial satellite is ready for launch. So, let's go and launch. No bad weather, that's the good thing. Oh, beautiful sky. December 1957, this is the first year of the game. And we will, if this is successful, have launched a whopping 3 rockets in 1 year. And adequate conditions, so 51% launch reliability, 12% chance it goes totally wrong, and 38% chance it will have some hiccup. But you know what? Only bold people go to space, so let's do this. And we have a liftoff. Well, didn't explode, so we will see if it was it was something negative. We have one last command on the first turn of the first task. You'll see what that means in a second, but hey, successful launch. That's all that counts to me right now. Now we just need to complete the mission, the payload mission here. Achieve Earth orbit. We need 2 comms mission resources. Comms is integral to maintaining communications with mission control and to transmitting data obtained by the payload. And we need 2 data. Data is the combined scientific, sensory and navigational readings collected by the payload's instruments. And we can get 50% bonus reward if we reach 3 and 3. And usually that's quite easy, because I can spend 1 resource here. I have only 1 command on the first turn. We have 4 turns in total. So I'll spend just the first turn here. And we have a malfunction right away. So I will spend 1 additional power to resist. In electrical malfunction, the camera has resulted in reduced data generation. This command's output will be reduced by 1 data unless you spend 1 energy to resist the event, which I will do because otherwise this first turn would have been completely for naught. Then I'll spend another power and the data we just got to generate 3 comms. And I'll generate 1 power to have a bit of a backup should it fail. Okay, this one worked without a hitch, so there we go. Got 3 data. Now I need 3 comms. Now I need 3 data. I will generate 1 more. And generate 1 power. We have 1 more turn after this. So it should work without any chance of failing. Ah! Whoa, that was close. It was barely successful, but hey. I'll take it. And then I will use 1 comms and 1 energy to turn this into 3 data, and we get the bonus reward. And I will charge the battery first, and this always happens at the beginning of the turn, so that we are on the safe side. There's nothing that could go wrong here that we can't somehow resist. So this will be a resounding success, way ahead of the competition. We will get the first satellite into space. As you can see, Mission Control is celebrating that. We're the first to do this, which gives us additional approval rating. We did this in December 1957, so we might get the additional funding for the next year. We'll see at the end of the month. We have researched the research lab. Next thing we're gonna start is gonna be the lunar orbit. It's cheaper than the animal in space in terms of science. Let's go to the base and build our research lab. There are so-called adjacency bonuses that you see in the bottom right. We would get 3% reduction in payload build cost and 2% in vehicle build cost. If I base it right there, we have no additional cost because this is open space. So let's do that. Okay, we have a new request, and we don't do anything else right now, so let's get the guidance system test. Your researchers have developed a new guidance system that requires testing on a basic sounding rocket. Let's launch the mission, plan the mission rather. Build a new sounding rocket. This one has 50% launch reliability. It's called the Yome, and we will build it next month. Fears over artificial satellite. Following your agency launching the first artificial satellite, several foreign newspapers have claimed the satellite represents a global security threat. NASA have requested that our agency releases the full specifications of your Osumi payload to prove its scientific purpose and quell public anxiety. Your advisors believe agreeing to the request will improve your relations with NASA, though the latter will likely gain some science from it. You know what? We are far ahead of them. Let's share the specifications. So they get some science out of this, but we get more reputation with them. Positive reputation with a fellow agency at certain thresholds gives you bonus science, I think it was, and negative reputations, which is a viable option, give you additional funding based on how much of a rivalry it is. So, we shared them. Your agency has released the full specifications of the Osumi satellite, demonstrating its scientific instrumentation. The release has helped alleviate global fears about your agency's intentions and has been gratefully received by NASA. And we get our budget review, and we got quite a bit of approval. And it's enough to push us to rank 3 in the funding right away. So we'll get 95,000 in funding per month. So that's quite a bit. 5% bonus is just from being antagonistic with the Chinese space agency. If we look at diplomacy screen here for a second, you can see we are actually so good with the ESA that we got access to their 2 contractors. Once we get to the stage where we can use contractors, we'll have access to these. So they have always pros and cons, like getting more launch reliability from Messier Aerospace, but it will take longer to build, or getting more support when we use Green Moon, but the reliability of the payload is reduced. Most likely I will also try to go for the NASA positive reputation, and will try to push Soviet Union, later on Russia, to negative, so we'll have some good and some bad. Just to have a relatively even distribution. And I know funding is a critical thing later on, so it makes sense. Our next research is done. Lunar orbit research complete. Achieving lunar orbit is a challenging endeavor for any space agency, requiring a payload capable of not only reaching the moon, but also the careful course corrections to maintain orbit around it. And we have built the UMA, our guidance system test rocket. There are no complications, any issues. It's base 50% launch reliability. So I'll set a launch date for this. First window that is viable for us is in June. So I'll select the date, confirm the mission setup. That's nice. Research-wise, we'll push on with the lunar orbit mission. We will design the He-10 payload, a small robotic lunar probe of cylindrical design, equipped with basic navigational and scientific instruments. It will take us quite a few months to research this, I guess. 900, yeah, we're making 116 per month, though the research labs haven't been built yet. They will be done next month, so we'll get a bit more additional research per month. Next month. And these events happen based on what missions you do. Radiation belts discovered. Data from your recent artificial satellite missions has confirmed that belts of trapped radiation surround Earth, shielding the planet from the sun's cosmic rays. We get 200 science. Our research lab is complete, the technological hub of your space agency. The research lab can greatly improve scientific yields from missions, unlocks mission training science. I cannot change this anymore. I might have wanted to wait 1 month, but whatever. The problem is right now we can't do the other mission design yet, so why not do another request to get more rewards? So, solar wind monitoring. Launch a basic satellite to monitor the effects of solar wind upon Earth's magnetosphere. We'll plan the mission. It is a satellite, so it has the experimental payload. It starts as an experimental payload, so we'll get 25% extra science reward for mission success, but the payload reliability is reduced. So I will reach deeply into my pockets and build one with increased power So it has 6 power because we'll have probably to fight a lot of fails with additional power. And I want this to succeed. Power cut. A major power outage during the construction of the Osumi payload for your upcoming solar wind monitoring mission has resulted in substantial damage to one of its components. The engineers have estimated a 10% reduction in payload reliability, which is currently 35%, unless the component is replaced at the cost of 100,000. It's expensive. I have to do it if I wanted to succeed. So, this is a bummer. We lost a lot of money here in a relatively short amount of time. But that is how it is. So, we have built the payload. A problematic instrument has to be removed, so we get more reliability, but we lose science reward, so it equals out, basically. When it comes to the science reward, because we get 25% more bonus from the mission trait, but lose 25% because of the trait of the payload itself. However, we don't get back the payload reliability that we lost in return, so this is a mission under not so good conditions, I would say. So it's gonna be called the Akusan Kuto. And it will be built for 98k. We'll launch the guidance system. Test launch. Sounding rockets. Let's hope it's not raining. It is raining. Let's see how much of an impact that has. It looks like pretty heavy rain. We might have to delay a month. Let's take a look. Yeah, I will delay a month. Yes, I will reschedule. Also, I can use this at least to do some science training for 1 month, so we get just more science reward. We'll just schedule for the next month right away. I don't want to delay it too much. Okay, race to space. The prospect of launching the first human into space is dominating the newspapers. Most have labeled it an impossible endeavor, whilst the less skeptical outlets claim a rival agency are bound to get there first. Several have contacted your agency for a statement. Let's go and be bold here. Declare you will win the race. And you have replied that it is not only possible, but inevitable that a human will reach space, and what's more, your agency will be the first to achieve it. Your statement has resulted in a surge of public support, yet detractors maintain that your agency is setting itself up for a fall. We gain 100 support just by doing this claim, and we have finished the research of the He-10, which is perfect timing because we just will launch the other rocket. So the Akusen Kuto is finished. We'll now hopefully launch the test rocket that has been waiting for a month. And looks like the weather is better. The Yume is ready for launch. Good conditions, 6% bonus, 56% launch reliability. Let's take it. Edge. Ignition. We have a liftoff. I repeat, we have a liftoff. Ascending fast. Oh no! This is our first fail. Critical failure. Vehicle is destroyed. Yet we get the experience with the sounding rocket. But no rewards, of course, because this failed. It is a bit of a bummer, but it is how it is. What I'll do next is work on the rocket test pad. We have researched, actually, not rocket test pad, sorry. How much does this weigh? 200 kilograms. I need something that can lift 200 kilograms capacity. Okay, we'll start with the Able. This weighs 1,000 kilos. So Alcohol booster will do the trick there. Yeah. So that's that. We can train for science gain for the solar wind monitoring. I really hope this one doesn't go wrong because I invested a lot of money in this. However, we can plan the mission for moon orbit. Let's see. Those will only help certain tasks while reducing the reliability. I'll go with base. It's expensive enough as is. So we will build this rocket, this payload for 194k. It will take us 2 months to build. And on that note, we'll end this episode, and I'll be back with the next episode next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next time. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe.